I'm trying to touch the states this time. 2021. Yeah, show him I can still rap though.
Now I'm in the game, I was on the bench. First I was renting, now I'm collecting rent. Run it up. First it with the Beamer, now I want the Benz. Spending all the bag like here I go again. Outside says chirp, now the camera phone. Told you I'ma keep the channels on. Why you acting different when the camera's on? Why you acting different like your paper long? 8 day wake up and I thank God. Bad decision got you wishing you could say nah. My city gritty, you could get hit any day now. On my mama, I'ma move my family way out. With some 20s, 50s, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, zillions. I'm talking Amazon money, talking so much money I could mess around and buy Amazon. I been winning, I'm like, why me? I heard these labels wanna buy me. I don't need you, boo, I style me. I roll G's and they burn me. Now I'm on my game, nothing is the same. Who am I to blame? Money made me change. Cardi in my ring when I'm switching lanes. Money in the carry on them Boeing planes. Money in the carry on them Boeing planes. Now I got $1 for all those rainy days. Ain't have a day off in like 80 days. I got hustles in like 80 ways. Kids if you won't take a lazy day. Wifey on me told me take a break. I keep going to the paper street. Then it's trips out to Montego Bay. If I take the job, bet I get it done. I said it before, I'm a 101. I just caught some ones, only wearing ones. Fornicate the funds, money made me calm. Diamonds on your neck, bet they on your neck. You want that watch, you better rock a tech. You want that chain, you better cop a vest. You want the check, but can you make it stretch?
Yo, welcome to another edition of the TrapN podcast. I am your host, Mr. James Roberts. And I want to welcome you guys on this Sunday. I thank you for spending some time with me. I am happy to be here. I am definitely happy to be in the building, in the trap. And this evening, we're going to have a conversation with Mr. Alonzo Bashment. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm choking up. Hold on. Yeah, tonight we're going to have a conversation with Mr. Alonzo Lewis. Alonzo Lewis, better known on TikTok as Trini Trucker. Don't get it twisted, it stands for Trinidad. So Trini Trucker started trucking in 2013, and so we're going to sit down with him. Hold on, guys. Hey! Hold on, guys. Wait a minute. Give me a minute. I just found out something. Give me just one quick minute, real quick.
I'm trying to touch the states this time. 2021. Yeah, show him I can still rap though.
Now I'm in the game, I was on the bench. First I was renting, now I'm collecting rent. Run it up. First it with the Beamer, now I want the Benz. Spending all the bag like here I go again. Outside says chirp, now the camera phone. Told you I'ma keep the channels on. Why you acting different when the camera's on? Why you acting different like your paper long? 8 day wake up and I thank God. Bad decision got you wishing you could say nah. My city gritty, you could get hit any day now. On my mama, I'ma move my family way out. With some 20s, 50s, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, zillions. I'm talking Amazon money, talking so much money I could mess around and buy Amazon. I been winning, I'm like, why me? I heard these labels wanna buy me. I don't need you, boo, I style me. I roll G's and they burn me. Now I'm on my game, nothing is the same. Who am I to blame? Money made me change. Cardi in my ring when I'm
quick. How y'all doing on this evening? How y'all doing on this evening? I'm glad to be here. I am glad to be here. I am glad to see that you guys are doing well. I'm glad to see that you guys are healthy. I'm glad to see that you guys have endured another week. Hope you guys have a good week. For those of you who believe Easter's coming up, I was thinking about not having a show for Easter, but we'll have a show. We got Mr. Cornelius coming up, aka Big Snacks. Big Snacks on the 9th. Cornelius Lauder on the 9th. Yeah, he'll be in the building. And then we're gonna have on the 15th, no, 16th. On the 16th, we're gonna have a special guest. This young man has changed the game in trucking for real. I mean, for real. I mean, I know it's plenty out there, but I was introduced to him through another trucker, and he's changing the game for real. And he's been so gracious to say, "Hey, man, I want to come on and I want to talk to you, and I'm gonna give you an interview." And so shout out to Trucking on Wheels. If you guys know him on TikTok, you know who Trucking on Wheels is. He's a good guy, man. He's a good guy. And so I just wanted to put you guys up on that. It's gonna be April the 16th that we will be doing. I will be interviewing Mr. Trucking on Wheels himself. Let me get his real. I saved it. But anyway, yeah, he's gonna be here on the 16th, man. You guys tune in. We're gonna give you opportunity to ask him questions, anything that you want to ask. He says he's an open book. He's gonna answer them. He's gonna field some of your questions to see where you guys are. Any question you have for him. But until my guest gets in, this is what I'm going to do. I have an article here that says that I want to read to you guys. Go over to CDL Life if you guys get a chance. They have some pretty good articles. And this is what I do on the podcast when I don't have a guest, even on my TikTok. I try to bring to light some of the things that we may miss as truckers that we don't get a chance to check out, because we're not finna check for that when we're in the truck looking for a load to get back home, the best paying load to get here and there. So I try to just look out for the truckers and make sure that I get in. I post something, that they may use that is gonna either benefit them or something that they need to say. I need to put my voice to this, and so that's what I do. That's why I created the podcast, and that's how it is structured. So with that being said, CDL Life, let me share the screen real quick. CDL Life, let's see, one, yeah. CDL Life posted, hold on, CDL Life, they did an article. I guess this is something that's on the books for truckers. Okay, something that's on the book for truckers. So this is how the article reads, and I'm gonna share the article with you guys. It says bill seeks to create tax credit up to $7,500 for CDLA truck drivers who drive 1,900 hours per year. I like the hours. I told somebody it was 20,000 miles. No. Oh, I thought it was 19,000 miles. No, it's 1,900 hours per year. So I guess this is their way of making sure you log in your hours and, you guys are turning it in. I don't know if they're going to create another agency to track driver hours, if they're going to go just based on what, your employee says and all of that. And I do believe these are going to be trackable hours. They have to be trackable hours. But I think, I think it's a good thing. But every time they do something good for us, it's something else coming behind that they're going to mess up us with hit across the head, right? So you always got to be like, okay. But at the end of the day, when you say tax credit, it always gives you, okay, let me listen, right? Let me put my ear to this because now is the time. So when with you got a you uh $7,500 tax credit, right? And so now let's read the article as it goes down. It says this week lawmakers reintroduced a bill. So that means that it was introduced before that would create a refundable income tax credit for truck drivers in hopes of bringing and keeping more workers in the trucking industry. The bipartisan strengthening supply chains through truck driver incentives act was reintroduced by U.S. Representative Abigail Sponberger and Mike Gallagher on Thursday, March 30th. Lawmakers say the bill would provide a short-term, fast, and straightforward incentive to attract and retain new drivers. The bill was initially introduced in April of 2022. The bill would create a 2-year refundable tax credit of up to $7,500 for truckers holding a valid CDLA who drive at least 1,900 hours per year. The legislation would also create a new refundable tax credit for up to $10,000. Wow. The legislation would also create a new refundable tax credit of up to $10,000 for new truck drivers or individuals enrolled in a registered trucking apprenticeship. Now, make sure you hear that. It said in a registered trucking apprenticeship. A trucking apprenticeship. And so for new truckers or individuals enrolled in a trucking apprenticeship, you will get $10,000. This is something that in legislation that's on the table. They're reintroducing it. So that means that they introduced it and somebody knocked it down, or they didn't find that it was enough importance to move forward with it. The article says if passed, the bill would allow new truck drivers to be eligible for the credit if they did not drive a commercial truck in the previous year. Listen, if passed, the bill would allow new truck drivers to be eligible for the credit if they did not drive a commercial truck in the previous year or drive for at least 1,420 hours in the current year. This means that new drivers could receive a proportion of tax credit if they drive less than 1,420 hours in the year, but drove at least an average of 40 hours a week upon starting to drive. So that means that you would be able to not have to have driven the 1,900 hours if you are a new driver. If you're not a new driver, you're one part of an apprenticeship, you can't do it. Hold on, y'all. Let me see. And so that's what is going to be on the books for the upcoming year. Hopefully they get that passed because I need that 7,500. I am not lying. I need that 7,500 for real. And for you new truck drivers, they're almost giving you back what you spend in to either go to an academy, go to a school, or even go through an apprenticeship class with your job. They're giving you the opportunity to get that money back that you spend. During the pandemic, truckers didn't have any remote options, none. Yet they went to work every single day to keep our economy moving, our community strong. Our country needs to step up and recognize their hard work. And we need to encourage more Americans to enter this industry, said Spam, whatever. Throughout Virginia, I hear. Okay, let me see if I can, because he was, let me put the invite in because he was having trouble. Okay, I got that. Let me put this in right quick. Paste. Hey, don't nobody else click this. This is for my guest. There you go. Just see if you can click that link and you can get in that way. Alonzo, click that link. Let me see if you can get in that way. So Sponberger's on our side with this. She's pushing this bill. Throughout Virginia, I hear about the need to address our chronic truck driver shortage. Our bipartisan bill would help bring more drivers into the fold, keep them on the highway, and reward them for their loyalty. I want to thank Congressman Gallagher for his continued partnership on this legislation, and I look forward to seeing more young Americans hop in the driver's seat. The trucking industry is facing massive workforce shortage that's disrupting nearly every aspect of our supply chain. Thank you. We need to encourage more young men and women to join this career path. In this bipartisan bill is a common sense way to recruit and retain more drivers to keep our shelves stocked and our economy moving. I appreciate this congressman. The two of them, Congressman Spam Berger and Gallagher. I appreciate you guys. Groups endorsing the bill include the ATA, which is American Trucking Association, American Loggers Council. Hey, what up, K Beast? What's up, Kevin J Beast? What's happening? We trying to get my boy in here, man. He trying to get that stream you're allowed in, man. So stick with us. He'll be up here shortly. I'm just running off right now. Stick with us. And so American Loggers Council, Virginia Trucking Association, Virginia Farm Bureau, Virginia Loggers Association, Virginia Agribusiness Council, National Grocers Association, International Food Service Distributors Association, American Building Materials Alliance, Forest Resources Association, Hardwood Federation, Wood Machinery Manufacturers of America, Third Way, and National Pork Producers Councils. All of those people are on their side for the tax credit for the truckers. Reducing the nationwide shortage of qualified truck drivers will require investment in developing. There we go. So we're gonna cut this short. Man. My guest has made it into the building. We got him up and in, and so what we're gonna do right now, we'll come back to that later on if we get back. I'm not in no rush to get back to it. But right now, in the building, I have my guest, Mr. Alonzo, in the building. Let me find my little old sound effects so I can give you proper intro, give you proper do, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh well, can't find it. Ooh, so here we go. Let's bring up Mr. Alonzo.
Yeah, first and foremost, man, I must apologize for being super late, man. I'm over here sweating bullets, pressing this, pressing that, and it was so simple.
Hey, what you said was just so simple.
Well, I had to get my teenage daughter, man, to show me like, hey, why is this not working? She was like, Dad, I'm sure my age, man.
Don't you're not by yourself. We all get into that old adage where we got to call these youngsters in to kind of help us out. You know what I'm saying?
Man, it's crazy.
But first of all, good evening. I want to say thank you, man, for taking out your time on a Sunday to sit down with me. I want to say thank you. I want to say kudos to you. I want to say welcome to the Freight Trapping Podcast. I am your host, Mr. Freight Trapping himself, aka James. My name is James Roberts. And without further ado, we're going to jump right into this. Man, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people. Tell them where you're from, what you do, and everything about you that you want to know.
Well, first and foremost, man, I just want to thanks, for having me. It's been a long time coming, back and forth, getting the schedule together. And I just want to say, thanks for having me. And I'm proud of you, man. I'm really proud of you, starting out and doing the podcast and everything. I remember, we never met in person, but, due to social media, what have you. I remember when it was just an idea, and, I really appreciate it. Even though I've been in the game for a while, it's just when I started, you had to pretty much learn as you go and just stay from what your trainer told you. But now it's, with social media, it's a good and a bad, it's a good and a bad. But I'll start with me personally. Been trucking this year, making 10 years, started back in 2013. And the funny thing about it, I started in 2013, but it took me my third time going to the school to sign up. Because the first time I went, I think the course back then, the first time I went was like around $6,000. And back then I was like, man, that's a lot of money. You know what I mean? I like, man, above that. And I went back doing what I was doing. And then, of course, trial and error, whatnot. I had a driving job back then. And I decided to go back. I said, let me go back to school. I went back and it went up to $7,000. I'm like, God damn, we keep going up. Right? So I was like, because back then, there's ignorance. I was like, man, that's a lot of money. Make a long story short, I was driving a tow truck. I was working for AAA, driving a tow truck. I remember going to a truck stop to wash my truck. And never forget, Smith's Transportation, the black trucks.
Yeah.
That truck was in front of my truck. You know what it's at the truck stop. So I'm sitting there waiting. He pulls up, the left door open, and a young brother like myself came out the truck on the driver's side. I mean, the dude he looked like me. He had the cap backwards. I mean, I was like, damn, that dude driving? And at that point, it just dawned on me like, man, if this dude could do it, and I must say, man, the dude looked really cool coming out the truck. The dude looked really, I'm like, man, damn, So anyway, make a long story short, I went back to the school, and guess what? Price went up again, 10 G's. I was like, man, at this point, I was like, yeah, it was pretty much, I didn't care. So, I signed up for the course. It took 6 months, and it was really tough, man. At that time, to be honest with you, I was working nights, and the class was 8. I was working 10 at night at 6 in the morning, and the class was from 8 to 1, I believe it was. Yeah, 8 to 1. So I'm in class, and one of the best things I did, I sat right in front of the teacher. The first row, the one that people go to the back of the class.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, I had to sit up right up front, because if I didn't, I would have been sleeping.
Yeah,
man. So did that for 6 months. Of course, graduated in August, and September I went to my first company, US Express. And I don't know how much in details you want me to go. I mean, truckers, we could talk for days when it comes to trucking.
Hey, I'm here to listen. So first of all, give the people your name for your first and last name.
Well, my official government name is Chad Alonzo Lewis. Yeah, that's my official government name. Of course, on social media, you know me as Trini_trucker.
Mm-hmm.
Or Alonzo Bash. Also, I'm a DJ and host also outside of trucking.
So he's Mr. Alonzo Lewis, Chad Alonzo Lewis. He's on TikTok, and if you want to go follow him, he goes by the Trini_trucker on TikTok. You got any other social media? Oh, you say you're a DJ, so they can go on. You got anything on your platform while you're DJing or anything like that? What do you do with your DJing?
Well, most of the time, man, it's really simple. If you type up Alonzo Bash, Alonzo Bash, that's BASH, or Alonzo Bashment. It pretty much everything's gonna come up, because I think I go back and forth on TikTok with the name. So sometimes it's Trinity Trucker, sometimes Alonzo Bash. Because I'm not gonna make 2 pages, it's just so once you hit Alonzo Bash, all those things, all those platforms is gonna come up.
Okay, so let's get into it. You made a sacrifice, a huge sacrifice, because I know you probably was sleep deprived. Just from you saying you got out, you worked from 10 to 6.
Right.
Went to school from 8 to 1.
Right.
At that time, were you married? Did you have any kids? Were you single? Where were you in person right there at that point?
Man, let me tell you something. At that time, I was married. And yeah, it was tough, man. It was tough. I ain't gonna pretend. At that time, my daughter was a baby. I think she was she was born 207. So she was small. She was young. So yeah, it definitely was a sacrifice, man. It definitely was a sacrifice. And this is what I tell a lot of young guys, because go back again to social media. Social media like I said, it's a good and a bad, but a lot of people really don't see the sacrifices that truckers make from the moment you decide, like, this is what I want to do. It's a sacrifice, and jumping forward a little bit, also was a driver trainer, JB Hunt. So I've seen guys go through that struggle. I've seen guys get in the truck, ready to go, and the home just keep calling them, stressing them out, and they gotta quit because the wife is not used to them being at home taking the kids to school or what have you. I always say a lot of families will love the money that the truckers bring home, but they don't like the lifestyle. You know what I mean?
I'm actually getting ready, and I want to make sure that I do this right. That's why I'm not really rushing it.
All right.
I'm going to do a series on real wives of truck drivers.
I like that. That's a good idea, man. No, that's a good idea. Get a different perspective.
And we're going to get the home perspective, even if because we got a lot of females in trucking now, even the men,
right?
And I may change it up to real husband and wives of trucking.
Yeah.
The way I can get all aspects of it, because it is a lot of sacrifice on both ends.
On both sides, yeah.
So the reason why I said that, because we had, our beginnings into this industry was almost similar. I started out in 03, 04.
Okay.
And I was working nights like yourself. And in the morning I would go, because I had my license. I didn't have to go to school. Back then, it wasn't required for you to go to a school or nothing like that, right? So long story short, I just basically went got my license, found a scrapyard that would allow me to drive their trucks and get my experience up. But I had to drive during the day because we were going back and forth to the container yard, to the ship channel. So I worked at night, got off at early in the morning, about 5:30, went right across the street to the scrapyard the truck at 5:30.
Yeah.
And so at that point, that began my trucking journey. Right there, just like yourself.
Yeah.
So with you sacrificing so much and for the betterment of your career and of your family, Uh, what was some of the what was some of the highs and the lows of that? What was some of the highs and the lows?
In the beginning,
Yeah, in the beginning.
I mean, as a rookie driver,
I mean, just personally. I mean, as far as you getting in there, obtaining your license, because you say you went to school for 6 months.
yes,
Nowadays, you don't have to go for 6 months. You can go for 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? You can go for 6 weeks. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So now it's kind of the learning curve is kind of curved a lot. So
right,
at the end of the day, it's not much sacrifice, but it is some.
yeah.
But from your story, you made a huge sacrifice because that's a long time, 6 months to do that.
Well, let me answer it this way, and that is true. At the time, I had two options. So I went to a school called Allstate here in Baltimore. That course was 6 months, and there's another school called North American, which is 3 months. So I was trying to debate about 3 and 6 is kind of a wide margin. What's the difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, North American course is shorter and it's cheaper, and Allstate was longer. But I knew a guy that was a trucker, and I asked him, I'm like, hey, what's the difference? I mean, how high can it be? And his words was, listen, the 6 months might seem longer, and don't even worry about the money, because a lot of times they're going to qualify for financial aid anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And most companies, as a rookie driver, they're either going to, set you up with tuition reimbursement,
Mm-hmm.
or give you some of the money back. So out of pocket, you're probably spending less than half of that, which is true. But he told me to take the 6 months because once I go to Allstate, at that particular time, I can speak for now, that school, once you leave there, you're ready for the road. You well seasoned, you well trained as a rookie driver.
Mm-hmm.
And so said, so done, man. Once I left that school, I felt like I was fully prepared. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's how I made that decision for 6 months. But yeah, it definitely was a struggle. I mean, to be honest with you, the last month, I remember something happened. I didn't have a car. I think my car was in a shop or something, like the last 2 weeks or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, oh my God, I forgot the brother name. Yeah, offered me to give me a ride home.
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that. But it definitely was a struggle, but it's worth the sacrifice. If anybody's thinking about getting into trucking, I would say it definitely worth the sacrifice, because this might be a stretch,
Mm-hmm.
but the trucking has definitely I felt like trucking gave me a lot of opportunities that most industries, because I never graduated from college, and the lifestyle that I've attained over the years. I mean, I ain't rich, but has given me opportunity to create, a comfortable lifestyle for myself and my family. I'll put it that way. Yeah.
So I know everybody's wondering. You say you go by Trinity Truckers. Is that because you're from Trinidad?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
we can hear it. We already know you're from the island.
Oh yeah, I thought you were saying the Baltimore accent, man.
No, because you don't say do. You don't say to. So, so being you still know you're not from. So once you got your license, what was your journey like finding employment? And then once you found employment, what was your journey through your career? Take us through your career as a trucker.
All right. So I decided to go with USA Express. And the reason why, once you're in trucking school, for those of you, like anyone that's interested in trucking, once you're in trucking school, there's recruiters that will come to the school and try to convince you to go with their company.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you have to do your own research.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the tips that I remember, I can't remember who told me this, but one of the tips someone had told me, the best way to pick a company as a student driver is to look at the trucks that's commuting in your community.
Mm-hmm.
So if you live in a major metropolitan area, obviously, I've been Baltimore, Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Look at especially if you live, the shopping center. Go to whatever shopping center the Home Depots, the Walmart, not much Walmart, but the Home Depots, or just any industrial area. If you live close to the highway, look at the trucks, especially if you live close to the highway. Look at the trucks that's passing through that community. And for me, it was US Express. Everywhere I turn, is US Express.
Mm-hmm.
So when they came to the school, I already had an idea in my mind. That's the company I wanted to go to, compared to the others. So anyway, we went to US Express. Of course, the transition from leaving a regular 9 to 5 to trucking.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you the amount of times I quit, and even wanted to quit. And people always ask, and I'm sure you go through the same thing. People always ask you, like, "Man, you love trucking?" And I always say this. I say, "Listen, man. Every week I'm planning on quitting, and then Friday comes around and I get my settlement, and I say, you know what? I can hang around for one more week."
So let me ask you a question. You said that, when you first got in it, what was one of the things that made you want to quit? And we already heard about the things that made you stay with the settlement. So what made you want to just say, man, forget this? I don't think I chose the right career.
Because there's a lot of uncertainty when you start. We have to remember, the average person gets up, goes to a job. You know what time you start, and you know what time you finish. 4 o'clock, I'm hitting the clock, I'm gone. Peace.
Mm-hmm.
In trucking, sometimes you have, especially when you're new, you don't know. For me, let's start with your first month in trucking, you're with a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are used to being in a small space with somebody for 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
You're away from home. You on their schedule. You up all night.
Right.
You can't sleep in the day. The truck's moving. You know what I mean? It's a lot of variables you got to deal with. And you're missing home. You have to get used to eating truck stuff food. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And I remember in training, I never knew. We went to Arizona. And I'm thinking Arizona is hot. I'm wearing like summer clothes. No one told me at night it gets freezing cold in Arizona.
Desert. Mm-hmm.
Man, it was terrible. So anyway, yeah. So
with US Express, you were driving over the road?
Yeah, I was OTR.
Okay, what did y'all haul? What they was dry van or
dry van?
Okay.
Yeah, we were hauling dry van.
Okay.
My trainer back then, his name was Jerry, and really and truly, man, I lost contact with him, but I will say, man, I was really fortunate to have a good trainer, because he was straight up, he was straight up, and we had times we bump our heads and stuff, but he wanted the best for me,
Right. That's to be expected, because you're two men in a confined space, and you know what I'm saying? He's trying to train you, and then you're saying, okay, that's expected. But men do get over it. They can come to an understanding and they move forward. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. So once you got with USA Trucking, then USA Express, and then you moved into something else. Well, what was that?
I was still with USA Express for 3 years. Like I said, doing dry van OTR. And from US Express, I went over to JB Hunt for 5 years.
How'd you like that?
JB Hunt was cool. Learned a lot with JB Hunt. JB Hunt, I did a little bit of everything. I did reefer and dry van. I did mostly regional. For I think within 1 year, about a little over a year, I did a route from Maryland to Detroit 3 times a week. Then I did ride-it accounts, New York City. I did that for a while. I was a driver trainer for New York City. That was the experience on its own. JBM was a good experience until the end.
Yeah. Well, you saying I was going to jump, but to the end, what happened in the end?
Man, this story, if I tell you this story, man, I don't know if you got time on this podcast for this, man.
I got time.
I'm going to give drivers this tip, and something that I had to learn the hard way.
That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for any tip that you have that you can give. Go ahead. Floor is yours.
Right. Now I'm gonna put this disclaimer out there. Put my hands in the air and everything. I swear on my kids, I've never smoked any illegal or done any type of illegal substance. All right. So I got called for a random one night at JB Hunt and went to Concentra, did a random. Right. And I was told at the time, now mind you, at this point, this was like 2 years ago, give or take 3 years. I've been driving trucks. I did many randoms before, never the issue. Did this one random, and the guy told me that my urine, the temperature was incorrect. Right? They were like, well, I never heard that before, so you have to take a retake.
A retake, yeah.
I was like, all right, man, cool. So this is I think it was about 12 midnight, after 12 at night. So I'm in the lobby in Concentra calling my supervisor, like, hey, man, let's say I got to stay here and take a retake. So while I'm talking to him on the phone, he can't hear me. I'm in the lobby. I remember to verbatim, there was a basketball game going on in the background. So he couldn't hear me in the TV. So I stepped out the doorway. There's what they call an alcove. And this word is new to me. I never learned it till then. I stepped out into the alcove, right? Which is a door.
Right.
In the middle of a door, pretty much.
Right, exactly. Finished
the phone call and came back and sat down. And guess what? Sir, you have to leave. What?
Failure.
That's considered it's considered a failure or refusal. Even though I give my sample, once you leave I like, well, I didn't leave. I was just like, once you cross that threshold, I was like, man, that's crazy. So you know what happened after that?
Tell the story. It's your story.
I got fired, man. I mean, I can laugh now. But yeah, listen, man, it was crazy. And so when that happened to me, obviously it was definitely was a traumatic experience.
So we both are, you sent me your bio, and we both drive for FedEx.
Yes.
You on the contract side, which is ground.
Yes.
So you drive for you drive for yourself, or you drive for a contract. We'll get into that later.
Right.
But I drive for the freight side, which I'm directly hired with the company.
Right.
We've had about 2 guys do the same thing that happened with you happen to them, but I think they purposefully walked out. Hey, Ms. Yo Biz, what's going on? Ms. Yo Biz is in the building. Happy Sunday to you. But they walked out too, but I think they walked out on purpose. Yeah. So let's move forward. You work for FedEx Ground. Tell us a little bit about that, how you got into it, or is that your contract? Do you work for somebody? How does it go with FedEx Ground?
But if I go to FedEx Ground really quickly, I also did, if this matters, I did 1 month with Walmart.
Okay.
While I was at JB Hunt, I was thinking about leaving, and I always wanted to drive for Walmart.
Okay.
And
how was that? Why did you leave there?
Well, the problem with Walmart was me living in Maryland, in Baltimore. The closest DC was in Delaware. With like always some change, and
right.
But I did it, and in all the driving jobs I had, I was in Walmart. Just to pass the test, man, they're thorough, yeah, they're very thorough. So it was a blessing, really, but yeah, I couldn't stay long term. It wouldn't have worked out the commute.
Yeah, they put about 50 drivers in that truck driving championship. They pay their drivers to get into it.
Yeah.
So they have about 50 in there. So go ahead with your FedEx. Go ahead. Let's jump into FedEx.
Yeah, I ended up at FedEx with the same situation. After I left JB Hunt, a buddy of mine was working at FedEx, and when I told him what happened, he couldn't believe it. So he said, "Okay, I'll talk to." At the time, he said he talked to his boss or whatnot, which he did, and they called me, and I told him what happened, and I guess just personality. They say, "Okay, we'll give you a chance, and we'll push your paperwork through, and see what they say." And they did, You know, on top of that, I have to take like a urine sample every it seemed like every 30 days. They know me up in there. Hey, Mr. Lewis. But yeah, that's how I ended up at FedEx. And it's definitely a good experience. I mean, I never pulled doubles before, so that was a challenge in the beginning, learning that whole, you know.
So how was it for you learning how to maneuver the dolly and line it up? How was your experience getting into that?
The beginning is always the hardest, man, because I never realized how heavy a dolly is. Listen, a dolly is really another vehicle, man. In real life, that thing is heavy, especially the older ones. But the thing is, with anything else, your body get used to it. You know, body mechanics. And you pretty much kind of learn how to pick the good ones from the ones to stay away from, you know? But yeah, it's all about body mechanics and part common sense, because I've seen guys, you know, there's like anything else, there's wheels. If you're in an incline, sometimes it might seem like more work. It's better just to move the trailer and then set up the dolly. You know what I mean? Or if it's a tight spot, because it's, you know, a lot of times you might have a 53 sitting in front of a pot, or you know, a small a 20-footer. I've seen guys trying to squeeze in. Like it's a lot simple just to move it and set up. But yeah, I mean, the dolly's the hardest part, but once you get used to that, it's easy. The one thing I love about pulling doubles is the difference when you pull in the 53 on the highway. People usually don't stay close to you when you pull into a, you know, they usually don't. I don't know why, but they usually don't. You know? That's the one advantage I like.
Yeah, cause you pull them doubles, hey, they see you going down the highway, and sometimes that real trailer get to doing a little fishtail just a little bit. They be like, oh, let me stay away from that. So how long did it take you to get used to watching your two trailers and keeping them in line? How was that experience, getting used to driving that?
Well, the thing about driving doubles, let's think about a snake. Wherever the head go, the tail is going to follow. So the difference with doubles pulling a 53, any slight move of the steering, it will show on the tail. So that's why sometimes you drive and you see like the back is swaying, because the driver might be, you know, hand might be a little loose on the steering. But I enjoy driving doubles, better than 53, especially around curves. Because when you come around a curve, the trailer just curve into the, you know, into the corner, or cornering, I should say. Compared to 53, that, you know, you better slow down, because you know, it's easy to roll over. Plus, pulling doubles usually is lighter. The loads are lighter. And
people don't even realize that doubles are shorter than the 53.
Yes, they are. They are.
They don't even realize. I think the only issue with people pulling doubles is that they can't just back up and dock. You know,
yeah.
I got a couple of buddies that can bag a set to a dock, but very few people can do that. Very few.
You could back up. Me, I could probably back up about 5 to 10 feet before it goes haywire. You know, and sometimes, a lot of times, you have to back up because, you know, it's whatever. But I would say this though. I would advise people, especially doubles, if you're driving next to doubles, triples, whatever. Yeah, it's a lot dangerous than it's already dangerous, but it's a lot of things to go wrong real fast pulling doubles. And I've seen that where the trailer falls off. Actually, a trailer, it never fell off on me, but one time I was leaving the yard, rushing again. I was in the yard and I'm leaving out, and I'm driving. I'm trying to figure out why I have so much play in my, you know, my steering. I'm driving like it's unnatural, you know, it's a natural feel. Came with a look, my pinner hook, I forgot to lock it in. You know, that's a lock for the
for the dolly.
For the dolly. Yeah. Yeah, the pinhook came out, but the chains, you know, we put the chains on there.
Yeah.
Man, them chains work, bro. I'm telling you, man, that trailer was in there swinging like a hammock, man. So that's imagine them chains wasn't on there. You know what I mean? So
yeah, you got saved because we've had a couple of drivers that pulled out the yard and got down we had one driver got down the highway and he lost his set on the highway. And luckily, you know, it just dropped and it didn't, you know, roll over and nothing like that. It just dropped to the ground.
Yeah.
Because I guess he didn't have his pin hook or his chains. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know what happened, but of course you already know.
Yeah, well, if it dropped to the ground, that means the chains wasn't on there.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but you know, you already know that he got, you know, dropped down to doc status. So
I mean to laugh, man, but yeah, it's serious out there, man.
So you drive for a contractor right now with FedEx Ground.
Yes.
And do you do any dropping hooks?
Yeah, I do a little bit of both. I do. All right, so my primary is line haul. If I'm doing overtime, like usually on a Sunday, like today, I'm off on weekends. Like on a Sunday, I'll do some dropping hooks or what they call P&Ds. Yeah, so I still pull 53 and stuff from DCs from pumps.
Yeah, dropping hook. So let's dig a little bit. How was it when you changed careers? You were married, correct?
Yes, sir.
Still married?
No.
Okay. All right. So personally, how was the transition from going from I can say 9 to 5, but we already know that's just a term meaning that you work a regular job, not working.
Yeah.
So how was it transitioning from a 9 to 5 into being a full-fledged trucker? What kind of strain did that have, if any, on your personal life?
On a personal life, there's a lot of things you have to give up in the initial stage because, like I said, you go from being home every day and, you have a certain lifestyle, whatever you do, TV shows, whatever, And then when you enter trucking, it's like you're gone most of the time, especially as a rookie. The rookie year is the hardest year, as you know. Most guys don't make it past year one because, as far as the home life, it's they're difficult on the next person too, because like I said, they get used to you being around and then you're not there, so everything falls on that one person, especially when you got kids involved.
Yeah, that's what I was finna say. How did it affect you mentally when you knew, okay, I'm not gonna be able to be here for this, I'm not gonna be able to be there for that, but you knew that getting in the trucking was going to do something for your family financially? How did you kind of convey that to them that, hey, just stick with me, I got a plan?
You got to think long term, and you have to, I'll put it this way. I want to make all about me. But I always tell guys, listen, you really have to have a hard and serious conversation. Because I've been there. You need to have a hard and serious conversation with your spouse and have to have a plan. You can't just run out here and just drive a truck because you're here to make money. You have to have a plan. So if the plan is, okay, year one, year two, this is what I plan on doing. This I'm supposed to make weekly, what have you. This is the goal, right? And you have to make, because once the other person see the goal is coming to reality, it's going to make it a lot easier. You ain't going to do much convincing.
By goal, you mean money?
Money. Right, money. Because listen, remember, you're gone. And see, now, listen, I always tell people, now it's so much easier.
Yeah.
If that's the right word to use in trucking, because I did a post one time, I don't know if you saw it on TikTok, 5 apps every trucker must have, right?
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah.
Back then we didn't have Cash App. Back then there was no Zelle. You know what I mean? Back then there was no video. Did I have video calling? I think so. I can't remember specifically.
No, I didn't.
Right.
I don't even think the phones was that capable of what they was doing right now. They wasn't capable of doing that when I was over the road.
Yeah, I don't think there was video calling. I can remember.
I think I started out with a Nokia.
Oh,
and they definitely did what.
Yeah. So yeah, now it's so much easier because, like I said, but yeah, the level of communication have to be. Because I would say this, man. It's a little misconception that a lot of people have about truckers. Let's put it out there.
Yeah, put it out there. Let's put it out there.
Right. And when you have a wife at home and a husband about to venture into this, the first thing they're thinking about is the lot lizards that they hear about, and women that's out there and all these different things. Now, I'm gonna say this, it's part true, but it's a minority. I can tell you, I've been driving trucks for 10 years, and I can tell you how many lot lizards that I've seen in about 10 years. Let's be real about it, man. Let's be real.
We're not gonna go there with mine. I've been driving I've been driving 18, but I've been in the industry going on right at 20.
Right.
But I've seen my fair share.
Well, right. Well, I'm sure you have. But what I'm saying, it's not as prevalent as people make it seem. Like you're just gonna walk out. Now, if you go there looking for that, I'm sure you can find it. You see what I'm saying?
I think the misconception is even from the lot lizards. I think the misconception is that truck drivers got a woman in every city and in every state. So,
man,
that's a misconception.
Well, listen, I tell everybody, unless you drive a truck for a living, once you park that truck, you're so damn tired. Sometimes you ain't got time to take a shower, much less, go deal with anybody, whatever you want to call it.
I'm gonna tell you, I don't have time for that because I'll be trying to get back home so that I can have a social life.
Right.
I'm gonna say this here to truckers that's over the road, and I don't know how truckers do 3 weeks and 4 weeks out. I mean, I don't see how you do it because
my max is 2.
Yeah, my max was 1. My max was 7 days. But for me, coming back home and being able to have some type of social life was a reset for me to go back out there and do another week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think that you have to have that. And especially right now today, when you say, well, I can do that over the road, I can do that in Baltimore. You putting yourself in an unknown environment that you don't know nothing about.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, you have to be able to come home and push reset and say, boom, I'm going to start this over. I'm going to take a deep breath. Okay, let's do it again next week. What you think?
Man, I totally agree with what you just said. It is so true. I guess it's one of the reasons why, because people always ask me how I get time to drive trucks and DJ and do all these other things. Because, like you said, I need that reset. I would say that this. I remember in trucking school, in my opinion, one of the dumbest advice I've heard a recruiter told students is the fact that the job was OTR, and he was saying you're gonna be making so much money. Listen to this. He said you're gonna be making so much money if you have an apartment. It might as well you just give it up because you don't really need it. You just be wasting money. You could just come over the weekend and get a hotel or something. Because I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard before.
He said that because he probably had a company that he was going to put you in, that he was getting a percentage for putting students in the seats,
right,
and they're surviving. And so that's why he would say that. You see what I'm saying?
The dumbest advice I ever heard in my life, man.
Yep. So moving forward, what are some of the, we got quite a few truckers on TikTok that are, and a lot of them are ladies.
Yeah, a lot of ladies on the road now.
Oh, Miss Yobiz say, where are you from? He's from Baltimore, Miss Yobiz. He's from Baltimore. He's a Baltimore native, but he's Trinidadian. He's Trinidadian, Miss
She like stuff, man.
Yeah.
Trinidadian. I carried you, man. I carried you.
He's from Trinidad. But
yeah.
But it's a lot. So from you as a trucker, as we get ready to wrap this up, as you as a trucker, what would be your tips from start to finish? Because like I said, we got so many women coming into the industry.
Yeah.
I applaud them for coming in. She said she heard the accent. What would be your tip to a young truck driver, an aspiring truck driver, to come in? Just your tip. Nobody says that our opinions are facts, right? None of them. But you have something to offer the industry. You have something to offer a new trucker. And what would that be to that new trucker getting into the industry, going from point A to point Z in trucking?
All right, so I already mentioned the female truckers, so I'm gonna leave that more so to the end, because that's a whole different, not really a different conversation, but there's some variables when it comes to women in trucking.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, within the last couple of years, we have seen an influx of women truckers, which is very supportive. A lot of minority women as well. Mm-hmm. And of course, as you look at TikTok, you see a lot of videos where a lot of them are struggling, and I could understand why too. But in general, my advice to new truckers get into the business, the first thing I would say is do your best to save and invest your money. Because a lot of times, a lot of us go from getting paid every 2 weeks, and then overnight, when you make it in 2 weeks, you make it in 1 week plus. Mm-hmm. And, you know, a lot of times, the more money you make, the more you spend, which is true. Mm-hmm. Right? So my advice is always to tell new guys, save your money, invest your money, whether it's in, real estate, buy a home, buy a property, whatever. Because the last thing you want to do, and I'm talking from my experience, when I first got into trucking, I didn't plan on staying in trucking this long. I was like, man, I just come and make a couple of dollars, and do something else, But like I said, I got my settlement last week, so I'll hire on for another week. You know what I mean?
Oh, you taking it week by week?
Week by week, 10 years later, week by week, right? But I'll say, the most important thing is really save and invest in money, because the last thing you want to do is for 10, 20, 30 years go by and you're chasing miles on the highway. You definitely don't want to be in that situation. Mm-hmm. That, and take your time. One of the best advice that was taught to me when I first got into the business: no load is going to make you a millionaire. Mm-hmm. Take your time, and if someone try to force you on a dispatch, mm-hmm. The one good thing is, we have the kind, the law on our side. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, you're the captain of your own ship. So I would say, take your time, save your money, and remember safety first in everything. If you're uncomfortable about anything, like driving in, especially wintertime, mm-hmm. You feel uncomfortable. You don't feel. Everybody has their threshold.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So if you're driving and you feel like, me personally, I don't drive when it's raining and lightning at the same time. Okay. So once that's happening, I'll stop, because the sudden flash at night with the rain, it cuts down your visibility almost to like zero. Mm-hmm. Mm. So when that happens, I'm like, all right, cool. I don't drive it in those type of conditions. But so I would say save your money and safety. And as far as the family is concerned, you really need to have a plan. Whether it's a 5-year plan, 2-year plan, whatever plan, and stick to that plan. Because if you're a guy that has a family, you need that support at home, and vice versa. You know?
Yeah, you definitely, especially out there on that road, you definitely need that support on the road, and for them, not only for them while you're away, but for your peace of mind while you're on the road also. Because I did over the road, and I was fortunate to make it to the point where I am to be able to be at home now with my family, you know what I'm saying, each and every night in the weekend. So that was one of my goals, and I reached it in the industry.
Yeah.
So I'm happy when I go to work. Joe Beard say people go into the business thinking they will make millions of dollars. I mean, well, she said millions off the top.
Millions off the top. Yeah.
Millions off the top. And she's right. A lot of people come in here and they see truck drivers that been in the industry for 10, 15, maybe even 8. I would go as low as 8, and they see that they are doing good. And the first thing, you know, even when you hit the stores, people see you coming in, jump out your truck, and they go, "Oh, there go that big truck driver." And the first thing they're saying in their head is, "Oh, he got that money." Nah.
Man, I'll give you a story really quickly. One time I was making a delivery in Philly at a Rite Aid store. I'm knocking on the door for the manager to come to the door. She's looking out the window, looking at me, right? I'm like, what's going on? She cracked the door open. She's like, who are you? I'm like, I'm a truck driver. She looked at me up and down like, you no truck driver. I was like, lady, what? She's like, you don't look like a truck driver.
I don't know what a truck driver. I guess we supposed to look like cowboy boots or steel-toe boots, long jeans. You know,
stereotypes, man.
Yeah. So I don't. But you said it earlier. The landscape and the way drivers look has changed over the years, especially with women truckers coming into the industry. That's the biggest change. So people can't necessarily look at you and say, "Oh, you're not a truck driver," because we have that big jump of the influx of women coming into trucking. So people can't make that assumption of, "Oh, you're not a truck driver." You don't know who a truck driver around here nowadays.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That is true.
Especially with the automatic trucks coming in. That's a lot of people to come in. That's allowing for a lot of, and I think it's a good thing. I love a manual, but at the end of the day, I've drove manuals for so long. Now that I'm in an automatic, I love going to work.
Yeah, well, my transition came at JB Hunt. I never forgot this, man. My old truck, and it's stuck in my head. My old truck 327909 was a stick, right? Mm-hmm. That was my baby. Cause you didn't get used to the truck. Mm-hmm. And I went on vacation and I came back and it was like, Louis, we have a brand new truck for you. I'm like, brand new? All right, cool, bet. I got in there. I'm like looking like, how the hell do you start this thing, man? I was heated, man. I was in my old truck back and everything. They were like, nah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's pros and cons with the automatic, though. I mean,
right.
You know, but like you said, now with the automatic, it makes it so much easier for new students, you know, people to get into the industry because it cuts the learning curve
in
half.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Yeah, you know, new guys now, they don't know what it's like to sit with 40,000 pounds on a hill and looking in that rearview mirror and a damn car is right on your damn trailer.
Yeah,
sweating bullets on that first gear.
You got to don't want to be on the first. Yeah, you got to figure it out.
But yeah, that's to wrap it up, man. With female, we talked about female drivers, truck drivers. Over the years, of course, you know, I would say after the pandemic, it seemed like a lot of women got into trucking.
Right.
A lot of sisters too. I would say this. Women in trucking have to also take in consideration, once you enter that industry, don't expect And I said with all due respect, of course, don't expect males to run to your assistance when they see you struggling. Because I've seen this with posts on TikTok where women might make, and it's not that they're being sexist, because it happened with us as rookies too, right? You're backing up, they're just gonna sit there and watch you to see you're gonna mess up, right? But this is what I always tell you guys: don't be scared to speak up. As long as I've been driving, I still come out if there's a blind spot and I can't see, like, hey, my man, do me a favor, man. Let's look at my back real quick.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You gotta have that confidence and have the authority, like, hey, I need you to do this without even asking. You see what I'm saying? So me saying that is for women truckers, don't be scared to talk to guys or your counterparts, you know, and say, hey, look, I need you to do this, or I need help with this, you know, but no one's gonna come willingly and say, hey, you know, because it's a very funny dynamic. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a thin line.
It's a thin line, because most truckers are very we don't want to seem like a creep, number one, you know, and sometimes, you know, it's a thin line, like you said. And that being said, once again, it's a profession that is very respectable, and just go there and do what you've been trained to do, you know. And once you show respect, and that's for women and men, you know, you'll get respect. As far as the truck stop is concerned for women, I would highly, from my experience driving trucks, you don't see much women truckers hanging out in the truck stops. I don't know about you, but me personally, I don't really see much women hanging out there. And I personally wouldn't recommend, unless you have a counterpart. But by yourself, I wouldn't advise a woman trucker to hang around in a truck stop by herself. You know, you come in, get what you gotta get, do what you gotta do, and go back to your truck and whatnot. That, and also find some type of protective. I'm saying, you know, whatever is protective for you, find something that you could have on your possession that to protect yourself. Because in trucking, you go to some very remote locations, you know, very remote locations.
What I always tell female truckers to do is don't park your truck where you're going to take your shower. So what I mean by that is, if you know you're going to park at a certain Love's down the road, don't go to that Love's and take a shower and stop. Stop at a truck stop before you get to that Love's, take your shower, then go to that Love's and just park. That way you don't have to get out the truck. Don't nobody know who in the truck. Don't nobody know what's going on with the truck, because some people.
You mean on the reset, the 10 reset?
Yeah, on a 10, or if they're taking a break or whatever.
Yeah. Take
your shower or your bath at a different truck stop than what you're gonna park at, because especially if you know that this is like, say for instance, you go to that Love's in Memphis. Right.
Oh man, why you gonna pick the worst one, man?
Well, because it's the example. Right. Don't go there and take a shower and park.
Yes. Hey, man, I got a story for that one too, but that one, go ahead, continue.
You know what I'm saying? But that's just my tip for women. You know, when they ask me, you know, what do you suggest over the road? Because that's a tip that will kind of keep things off balance for people who are trying to watch your every step. You know what I mean?
I think that's a great tip. If I may add to that, I think when you take in your showers, you should do it in the middle of the day.
Yeah, because you're driving. You're not. It's especially if you've already picked your load up. You're not doing, and you're in a drive-in, and you're not doing a whole lot of sweating. Go ahead and take your shower. All you're doing is driving anyway, you know, unless you don't have no air conditioning, you know, how dirty can you get? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, once you get to your spot, and, you know, just kind of stay in the truck and do your thing. So, man, you know what, man? Look here, Mr. Lewis, it has been a pleasure. I thank you for hitting me up and taking out your time. I was just going to do news tonight. But I appreciate you coming.
It's cool, man.
Man, you're welcome back to join up and come up and talk about anything that I'm talking about. Any of my guests, you got a question for them, you got anything you want to add to what we're talking about, man, you're more than welcome. Before we get out of here, once again, give people your social media handles to where they can reach out to you if it's for anything, a DJ, if it's for any, give them your social media handle.
All right, social media is at Alonzo Bashment. That's ALONZO Bash BASH Ment MENT. On TikTok it's the same, or usually it's Trini_trucker on TikTok, which is where I do my trucking videos.
And that's Trini with an I. It's Trini with an I.
Yeah, there you go. Trini with an I.
Hey, man, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming out, man. Thank you for taking out your time on a Sunday. And hey, we'll be in contact on TikTok, bro.
Yeah, man. Well, give thanks, man. Once again, man, keep up the good work, man. I'm proud of you.
Hey, man, thank you, bro. Thank you so much, man. I mean, shoot, I just do what I can do for the industry and for the new drivers and even for the old drivers that come through. I just do what I do, bro.
Yeah.
And you can accept it or reject it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I'm gonna do me.
You down in the H, right?
Huh?
You down in Houston?
Yeah, I'm down in Houston.
Yeah. I do a route to Houston from time to time too, man.
Well, hit me up, bro. I'm right there. My delivery area is right there on 225, going through LaPorte and Deer Park and all of that.
Yeah, Deer Park. Yeah, I know Deer Park.
Yeah, so if you man, just hit me up, bro. We'll link up, and if I got a hoodie on me, I got a Freight TrapN podcast. If I got a hoodie on me, man, you can have it.
Man, all right, be good, boys.
All right, bro. Thank you, man. Have a good night. Be safe.
All right, peace.
All right, bro. Peace. Hey, man, thank you guys for joining this episode. Thank you to Alonzo for checking in. Thank you for him for checking in. And I want to thank you guys for joining me on another edition of the Freight TrapN podcast. Remember, next week is going to be Mr. Cornelius Lauder, a.k.a. Big Snacks, on TikTok. Then after that, on the 16th, no other than Trucking on Wheels himself will be in the trap. He's gonna pull up to the trap. He's gonna pull up. That's my homeboy. I can do that. We talk. I can do that. He's gonna pull up to the trap on all fours. He pulling up in the trap. Hey man, I want he's gonna be in the trap on the 16th. Miss Yo Biz, y'all be here. I am really excited about getting him in this trap and doing this thing. So hey, I'm gonna get out of here, man. I thank you guys for joining up. Y'all kick in. Tell a friend. Join me and subscribe on the Freight TrapN podcast on YouTube. Freight TrapN podcast on TikTok. Y'all check us out during the week. We do some real funny stuff on TikTok. Us and the family over there. Say, man, I thank you guys. I will see you guys next week.